Sometimes someone's words can hit so hard that they leave you speechless, as if the weight of each word has stripped you of the ability to respond. It's like being paralyzed in a moment, stunned, as everything you want to say is suddenly silenced. You try to gather your thoughts, searching for a way to defend yourself, to explain your side, but all that escapes is silence. You stand there, facing them, words trapped in your throat, wondering how they could even think to say something so harsh, so cruel. In the seconds that follow, your mind races. Your thoughts are tangled with emotions, hurt, betrayal, disbelief, and anger, all clashing together. You want to shout, to make them understand how deeply their words have wounded you, to make them feel even a fraction of what you're feeling. But instead, you're left staring, caught between the desire to lash out and the inability to move. A part of you wonders how they could even think those words, let alone say them aloud, as though they hadn't considered the impact they might have. It's almost surreal, as if you're watching this unfold from the outside, questioning if this is really happening. You search their face, hoping for a hint of regret, a sign that maybe they didn't mean it, but instead, their expression confirms the truth of those words. And in that confirmation, it feels like a chasm opens between you, an invisible divide that suddenly separates you. Their words create a distance, and you feel that even though you're standing in the same room, you're miles apart. Then, as the silence stretches, self-doubt starts to creep in. You begin to wonder if somehow, maybe in some way, you caused this. Did you say or do something that gave them permission to speak to you like this? Your mind races through past interactions, searching for clues, asking yourself if you missed something along the way. You question if you somehow deserved this treatment, and with each question, you feel yourself shrinking a little, unsure of what's real. And yet, part of you knows that no one deserves to be hurt like this. Their words aren't just words. They're like wounds that linger, bruises that stay long after the moment has passed. You want to understand what drove them to say something so painful, but in that search for understanding, you realize it's not just about what they said. It's about the trust that has now been shattered. There's an ache in knowing that someone you thought you could rely on, someone you believed cared for you, could be capable of such callousness. It's a pain that goes beyond the moment and starts to shake the foundation of everything you thought you knew about them. Days pass, and their words replay in your mind, invading your thoughts at the most unexpected times. You find yourself imagining responses you wish you had been able to say, all the perfect comebacks that eluded you in the moment. But no matter how many times you replay it, there's no satisfaction, no relief. The hurt remains, like an open wound that refuses to heal. Each time you think about it, you feel the sting all over again, as if you're right back in that moment, speechless and hurt. You notice that their words have left you more guarded, that a part of you has started to build walls you didn't have before. You become hesitant to open up, reluctant to share your vulnerabilities, fearing that someone else might wield words with the same cruelty. You start holding back pieces of yourself, hoping that by doing so, you can protect yourself from future hurt. But as those walls grow higher, you realize that they're not just keeping others out. They're also keeping parts of you locked away. Over time, you begin to understand that their words are a reflection of them, not of you. You come to see that sometimes, people project their own pain, anger, or insecurities onto others, and that doesn't make it fair or acceptable. Slowly, you start reclaiming your voice. You remind yourself that you're more than those words, that your worth isn't defined by anyone else's harsh judgments or careless opinions. You begin to release the silence that once held you captive, realizing that healing comes not from waiting for an apology that may never arrive, but from recognizing that you deserve kindness and respect. In the quiet moments when those words come back to haunt you, you remind yourself that they don't define you. You remember that not everyone will see your value, and that's okay. The journey to healing is yours, and you can choose to walk away from the weight of those words, to leave them behind. With each day, you feel the sting of their words fade, and you find strength in knowing that their cruelty was their burden, not yours to carry. Gradually, you start to trust yourself again. You let go of the anger and hurt, not because they've apologized or because it's easy, but because holding on to it only keeps you tethered to the pain. In letting go, you find a kind of freedom, a release from the burden of their words. And in that release you reclaim your voice, a voice that's now stronger and more resilient. You come to realize that while words can hurt, they also have the power to heal, and that healing begins with choosing to be gentle with yourself, to remind yourself that you are worthy of respect, of love, and of kindness. In the end, you emerge stronger, having transformed the silence that once held you back into a strength that propels you forward. You've learned to value yourself, to see beyond the hurt, and to understand that no one's words should ever have the power to diminish your worth. With this new strength, you walk away, knowing that while you can't always control what others say, you can choose how you let their words affect you. You've found peace, resilience, and the courage to move forward. And that, in itself, is the greatest victory.